Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So since the 6th month of June is just about to be over, it's just about time for me to share my top 10 favorite comebacks of the year so far. I wrote a list of all of the comebacks that I thought would be contenders for my top 10, and I actually ended up writing down over 20. So it was pretty hard to eliminate over half of my list. I genuinely think that 2022 has been a pretty good year for K-pop so far, definitely better than 2021. And while I tried my best to be as unbiased as possible in this list, every opinion is a biased one, so if one of your favorite comebacks isn't in this list, don't take it too personally. And feel free to leave your top 10 in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and without further ado, let's start off with number 10. Starting off at number 10, we have Fearless by Lesserafim. And to be honest, while I didn't get it on first listen, after a while it grew on me way more than I expected it to. In the beginning, I thought that Fearless was a song that was a little bit too empty and a little bit too boring to be something that I would find myself going back to. But as time went on, Fearless went from being boring to just being a minimalist, easy to listen to bop. I think there's something really refined and polished about the subdued instrumental, and the laid-back vocals have such a nice vibe. Something about the way Chaewon enunciates her T's in the second half of the chorus, the whole get away part, is so satisfying to listen to, and considering how much of a maximalist genre that K-pop is as a whole, it was a lot more refreshing than I realized at first to have Fearless be such a raw and simple track. Another big reason why Fearless ended up making the top 10 is because the B-sides on this mini album are just too good. Blue Flame and The Great Mermaid are tracks that are so good that I think most 4th gen groups just haven't even come close to topping, and I'm super interested to see what Lesserafim are gonna do to top this album in the future. But right now, I'm just gonna enjoy the good music that they give us for their debut. At number 9, we have DM, aka Doesn't Matter by Fromis_9. Another fantastic mini album with a fantastic title track, and at the end of the day, I think it comes down to pretty people make pretty music. I think you could technically classify this as a retro comeback, but this isn't one of those mediocre, mind-numbing retro comebacks. This is one that's actually good. Fromis, thankfully, isn't one of those groups that's forgotten that you can just sing if you want to make a song. They don't ever really do experimental, and honestly, we thank them for that, because DM isn't one of the most innovative or groundbreaking comebacks that's ever existed, but it's clean and it's fun to listen to, and most of all, it just sounds good, which is very different from what a lot of other K-pop groups have been doing this year. Everyone say thank you Fromis_9 for reminding us that you don't need to break musical boundaries every single time you have a comeback, and special shout out to Hayoung for hitting those whistle notes because, I mean, wow. Coming in at number 8, we have Maniac by Stray Kids, which is another song that I didn't necessarily get at first, but grew on me as time went on. One thing that I like about Maniac compared to a lot of other Stray Kids songs is that it's one of their title tracks that sounds the cleanest. Whether you like it or not, when you listen to it the first time, you're gonna understand what they were trying to do. And even though I like songs such as Side Effects and God's Menu, I think that Maniac is objectively easier to listen to. Call me boring all you want, but my favorite part of Maniac is the chorus, and specifically the second half of the chorus. The way it builds by adding that vocal line and the extra instrumental is just so pleasant to my ears, and is definitely unique compared to a lot of the other choruses that we've been getting from K-pop groups recently. For being a quote-unquote noisy 4th gen boy group, Stray Kids definitely do stand out from the rest, and Maniac is by far one of their all-time best title tracks. Coming in at number 7, we have Run to You by STAYC. I don't know if I've said this before in one of my videos, but no matter what, every time I say it, somebody's gonna be surprised. I think Run to You is STAYC's best title track. I know it didn't go nearly as viral as ASAP or Stereotype, but maybe that's why I like it, because it didn't sound like any of the sections in the song were trying to be viral. Instead, they were just trying to sound good. I'm not specifically referencing STAYC here, but I do feel like a lot of K-pop groups release music nowadays with the intention of certain parts going viral. And I feel like a lot of the time, the people who produce these songs create these quote-unquote catchy and iconic parts at the expense of the song overall. But there wasn't an ounce of that in Run to You, and I think that's why I love it so much. As always, Xian's vocals were just heavenly, and that hook in the chorus, I think I could just listen to it on loop for hours on end. But the one part that stands out above the rest, and my favorite part of the song, is the frickin' dance break. Come on now. Even without watching the dancing, just listening to the music of that section is just a perfect experience. They seriously were not playing around with this comeback at all. At number 6, we have Beatbox by NCT Dream. Now, NCT doesn't always have my favorite music, but one subunit that rarely to never misses is Dream. I mean, come on now. Maybe I'm just a sucker for brighter boy group songs, but I genuinely think that this is one of the best releases this year because it's just so cute and fun. I know a lot of people found the beatboxing in this track to be a little bit cringe, and I can understand where they're coming from, but personally, I just thought it was a good way to bring something new to the table, and I didn't even consider calling it cringe until I saw a bunch of other people doing it online. There are so many good harmonies in this track, and this might be the best title where Dream were really able to show off their vocal colors. There was just so much personality in them. Beatbox is one of those songs where it's so catchy that I'll just find myself humming it throughout the day, and it kind of makes me smile a little bit each time I do. When it comes to music, NCT Dream is by far my favorite NCT subunit, and Beatbox is just another example of why that is. Now, this is definitely going to be a controversial statement, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one, but along with 11 by IVE, I think Love Shi by Jo Yuri is the best post-ITZY release. Songs like this are the reason why summer is my favorite season for K-pop, because the kind of energy that you get in Love Shi is something that you can't get from K-pop in any other season, to be honest. I love Yuri's voice. I think she might be one of my all-time favorite vocalists in K-pop, and along with just the excellent way the melodies are written in this song, she's able to deliver them so well. I think this song had me sold from the first time I heard that guitar in the chorus. The kind of pop rock / alt rock sound that Yuri took on for this comeback really reminds me of when I was super into bands like Paramore, and if you were like me and were one of those kids that were streaming Still Into You 24/7, you will absolutely love this song. You will fall head over heels. Love Shi isn't your typical kind of summer bop, but it's honestly kind of better, and after this release, I can confidently say that I do stan Jo Yuri.
Yeah, I'm tomboy.
Maybe the most controversial entry on this list, at number 4 we have Tomboy by I.DLE. And I can say that I was one of the few people who was not a hater of this song. People can call Soyeon's rap cringy all they want, but that's the only thing I see people say negatively about Tomboy, which makes sense because Tomboy is overall one of the best comebacks of this year. I know that quote-unquote pop punk has been a huge trend in K-pop over the last year or so, but Tomboy isn't really pop punk, it's more so pop rock, and pop rock is way more enjoyable to me because it's significantly easier to digest. The sort of grungy atmosphere throughout the entirety of Tomboy, just topped off by that little bleeping right before the chorus, is so delicious. And in the sea of groups that have tried to do a badass concept before, not many of them have really embodied it the way I.DLE did. That pre-chorus literally sends shivers up my spine every single time I listen to it, and Tomboy hands down has one of the most climactic finales out of the entirety of 2022. People can try and discredit her as much as they want, but Soyeon is nothing short of a musical genius. And though they might not want to admit it, a lot of the people hating on her are probably just jealous. At least, that's how I view it. At number 3, we have We Are The One by MCND, and though they typically are more of a noisy 4th gen boy group, with this song, they proved that they can pull off non-noise music so well, and they showed that they can really sing, which is something that not a lot of 4th gen boy groups can say. Maybe I just haven't dived deep enough into all of the groups that are around right now, but the kind of sound that We Are The One has is something that I haven't heard at all from anyone this year, and stands out as one of the tracks of 2022 with the most individuality. Seriously, I can't put it into words, this song is just so good, and you really do need to check it out if you haven't already. In fact, I'm gonna pin it in the pinned comment down below, so make sure to click that link. In second place, my second favorite comeback of the year so far, we have Candy Sugar Pop by Astro. Now this is just the definition of real music. Not a single part of this song is bad, it starts off good and stays good throughout the entire runtime. It is truly just perfection. It's the combination of the fact that they have some of the strongest vocalists in the entire industry, and the fact that whoever writes their music does it so perfectly, that every single thing in this piece of music makes so much sense. There's not a single thing that I would change, and I don't know if there's anything that you could add to make it better. Something about Astro's title track specifically put them on a different tier than most other boy groups, and especially since they're back to doing brighter concepts. It has been a long while since they've had a miss. Candy Sugar Pop is easily one of the most loopable tracks in K-pop ever, and I wish more people paid attention to them because although they are pretty famous, they deserve to be way more famous than they are right now. Now, before we get to our number one placer, I wanted to do some honorable mentions. These are comebacks that I'm not going to be doing any commentary on, but I did want to share them and give them a little bit of the spotlight in this video. So all of these songs almost made the top 10, but they just didn't quite make the cut. But if you hear anything that you enjoy, please, I implore you to go check them out. And for number one, my favorite comeback of 2022, we have Ginga by Billlie. One of my biggest flexes of all time is that I made an entire video talking about how good this comeback was before Suki went viral for her facial expressions. Because not every comeback changes your life on first listen, but Ginga was one of the special few. First of all, that bassline is just dirty, and Moonswa and Siyoon are some of the best K-pop rappers that I've ever heard before. Seriously, along with Ginga just being a fantastic song, the way that all of the members delivered their lines just enhanced it to that extra level. You can call it a quote-unquote quirky concept all you want, but Ginga doesn't really fit any sort of theme or genre. I seriously view it as sort of an enigma of a song, and I've talked about why it's so good a million times before, but I ask you all to just go listen to the song because the music speaks for itself. Not even just a 10 out of 10, Ginga is like a 13,000 out of 10, and even just the album, ugh. Chef's kiss, please just listen to it. And that concludes this video. That was my top 10 comebacks of 2022 so far, along with some honorable mentions. And make sure to comment your top 10 and your honorable mentions in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, consider leaving a like, and if you want to see more from me, consider subscribing. And without further ado, I'll see you all in the next video. So, peace out.